Pokemon has all kinds of attacks. There are strong moves, weak moves, some that have additional effects, some that are just free damage, and then there's some that explode and kill you when you use them. And I, being a masochist, decided to try and beat Pokemon Scarlet using only explosions. The big rules are that I'm not allowed to use bag items in battle, and obviously I'm only allowed to deal damage with explosions. This means anything blocked by the damp ability because it covers a bit more than just explosion. Also, Scarlet and Violet have 3 different story paths, but for the confines of this challenge, my only goal is to become a champion rank trainer, which means I have to defeat the Elite Four and Akita. So with all that out of the way, let's start one of the most painful challenges I've ever done. Before I could do any gyms or battles, I needed to catch something with an explosion move. And because I had no gym badges, I had to catch a Pokemon under level 20 or it wouldn't listen to me. The only Pokemon in the entire game that gets self-destruct before level 20 was Pineco, which learns it at level 6. I made my way just outside Artisan, reset this tree a few times, and I got 3 Pineco, which I named after various explosives. With my arsenal acquired, I headed to the first gym, did the giant olive roll gym test, and then I remembered the first gym leader has 3 Pokemon. And even if I one-shot all of them, I lose the battle because I faint before they do. Needless to say, I went back to that tree and caught 2 more Pineco. Then it was time for the first gym leader, Katie. Grenade blew up her Nimble, Dynamite destroyed her Tarantula, and then the Teddiursa actually took 2 self-destructs. One from C4 and one from Semtex. I know that battle didn't seem that hard, but the fact that the first gym had something that lived a hit was a sign of bad things to come. Oh, and bad things are already here at the second gym. I one-shot the Petalil, one-shot the Smoliv, but then came the Sudowoodo. Come on, 60%, please. No! What is that damage? Oh boy, that is not great. It was already time to break out a little bit of tech. My rules are that I cannot use battle items like X attack, revive, etc. But held items are fine, so I can go over to the Delibird Present Store and buy silk scarves. These boost the power of normal moves by 20%, and self-destruct is a normal move. Yo, by the way, this whole challenge was streamed live on Twitch, so if you wanted to head over there and follow the stream, that'd be pretty cool. Also, subscribe on YouTube while you're here. You may think you're subscribed, but maybe you're not. Yeah. With my new upgrades, I headed back to the grass gym, and believe it or not, a 20% boost to 40% damage is not enough to beat Sudowoodo. I did only have 5 Pineco right now though, so I went and caught a new one named RPG. One more Pineco should make Sudowoodo easy, except I somehow ended up killing it in 2 self-destructs this time. I don't really know why that happened, but yeah, second badge down. Before the third gym, you're required to fight Nimona in a rival battle. However, she only has 3 Pokemon, so I boomed her easily. Then I wanted to do a little prep before Iono. She has fully evolved Pokemon in Bellibolt and Mismagius, and I just knew that I was not going to deal enough damage to beat those. I decided to make my way towards Alfornata Cavern to capture a Meditite. Along the way, I caught a Buizel, which is useful for some other tech later. With the Buizel caught, I caught a Meditite as well, and then I went and bought a Mirror Herb. Using the Mirror Herb, I was able to transfer the move Power Trick from Meditite to Pineco. What this does is it swaps the attack and defense stats of the user. So instead of using self-destruct with 65 base attack, I'm using it with base 90. My rules state that the only way I can deal damage is with explosions, meaning status moves like this were fair game. With this new strategy in hand, I headed for Iono and then realized the flaw. While Power Trick does give me base 90 attack, it also reduces my defense to base 65. So I die way too easily to the Bellibolt and anything else with a physical move. The tech was cool, but honestly, not very good. It also would have gotten replaced immediately because at level 23, Pineco learns Curse. This boosts attack and defense, so it was strictly better than using Power Trick. Getting to level 23 might sound easy, but then you gotta remember that if you faint, you don't gain experience, and I faint every time I attack. There was a way to get the XP needed, but it was very far away. Titans aren't required for this challenge, but because they unlock movement upgrades, I decided to defeat the Titan Cloth. It's a rock type with very high defense, so beating it with self-destruct could very well be impossible. But what if it wasn't rock type? This is where Buizel comes in. Using Buizel, I could use Soak, which turns Claw from a rock type into a water type. It would also be like the only way to get around ghost types, so I was gonna get my use out of this. With this strat, I was able to easily beat Claw and unlock the dash upgrade for Koraidon. I ran all the way north, and by making a ham sandwich to boost the spawns of normal types, I could now farm level 40 plus Chansey for XP. I already had a few Pineco with Curse, and because of that, I could one-shot Chansey, letting all 5 of the other Pineco gain experience. I got all of them to around level 26 or so, and then I headed back to Iono. I cursed on Wattrel, boom, one shot. Cursed on Belly Bolt, then Power Trick because I wanted to believe my funny gimmick wasn't useless, and then boom, one shot. The Luxio unfortunately had Intimidate and fully paralyzed me, so it had to be 2-shot. Then comes her strongest Pokemon, Miss Magius. I sent out Semtex, my strongest Pineco. I clicked Curse, got the attack boost, and boom, one-shot Miss Magius, securing the 3rd gym badge. At this stage, I knew that my next 2 gyms weren't going to be much of a threat, so I wanted to grind my team up to a level that I could beat both easily. I headed back to grind the Chanseys when... Bro! Hey, check it out. Wait a minute. Oh, shoot, dude. Yeah, just a random full-out shiny, you know, the usual. After that, I got my team trained up and evolved all of my Pineco into Fortress. Now they're steel types and have way better stats. Absolutely a massive power boost. Once they were all in the mid to low 30s, I progressed the story, which was pretty easy for a little bit. I had a full team of much stronger self-destructs, so it's kind of expected, right? I beat the water gym easily, the normal gym easily, the rival battle with Nemona easily. 5 gyms down, and the 6th was the ghost type gym. Obviously, ghost types are immune to normal moves, so I couldn't just explode straight up. That's fine, I have Soak, right? Yeah, so Terra Ghosts. All right, let's soak it. No! Ah, that is unfortunate. Yeah, so Soak cannot overwrite the Terra type. There are a few ways you can get around that still, but it got a lot more annoying. My first thought was a Sylveon with Skill Swap and Pixelate to make the Explosions Fairy type, except Pixelate Sylveon can only be gotten after you beat most of the game. Okay, so there's an item called the Ring Target that lets you hit the holder no matter what their type is. I'll just use Trick and give that to the Terra Ghost type. Oh, Ring Target can only be gotten in the post game. Cool. Then I thought of a strategy that would be very annoying, but it would work. I ain't gonna spoil it quite yet though, because for now I had a lot of grinding to do. I was preparing to grind for a few hours off stream, so I went ahead and caught a few Knackly and Knackle Stack. I can't use these yet, but at level 60, Garganackle learns Explosion, so if I was gonna grind anyways, I might as well catch these now. And then I grinded. By my next stream, I had my Fortress in the mid-40s with Explosion instead of Self-Destruct. I also had 6 level 60 Garganackles for the late game, and a Floatzel and Rabsca in the 40s as well. The Rabsca has Revival Blessing, so I could revive an Explosion if needed, but more importantly, I thought it's Skill Swap. Then I caught a Flamigo with Scrappy, which allows normal and fighting moves to hit ghost types, and you might be able to see where this is headed. I got the moveset on the Flamigo sorted out, and now comes the hardest challenge yet, the Ghost type gym. I beat the trainers super easily using Soak strats, and then comes the gym leader, Rhyme. Rhyme leads off with Mimikyu and Banette, which aren't too bad. I Soak both while using Curse with Fortress, and then protect Floatzel and Explode. This kills Banette and breaks Mimikyu's disguise. Rhyme sends out Houndstone, I Soak it, and then it uses Phantom Force. This dodges Explosion, and this turn taught me that Mimikyu turns back into a ghost type when the disguise breaks. I don't know why it works that way, but it does. In the next attempt, I played around that and took out the Houndstone, a Mimikyu, and my own Floatzel in the same turn. Now I had a Rabsca and Flamigo on the field, and here's where my strats get a little spicy. Rhyme terastallizes her Toxtricity, and I terastallize Rabsca into Pure Bug, so I'm not weak to Ghost. Flamigo's Wide Guard blocks Discharge, and Rabsca takes Scrappy from Flamigo. The next turn, I swap Flamigo into Semtex, skill swap with Rabsca, and now I have a Scrappy Fortress at half HP. I managed to get the Explosion off, but Toxtricity lived the hit. I had used Revival Blessing to bring back Grenade, and I tried to pull it back with Sand Attack memes, but nah. I lost. The strat proved that it worked. I just needed to take less damage from Toxtricity, and I had just the solution. I went and grabbed the TM for Light Screen, taught it to Rabska, and this time Semtex was able to curse up, explode, and one-shot Toxtricity. Rhyme, the ghost type gym leader, was defeated with only explosions. And it was only possible because she just so happens to be a double battle. Thanks for that, Game Freak. With that beaten, things sort of get easier. I beat the Titan Earthworm for the high jump, and then I used it to navigate to Alfrenada. Nimona challenged me, but she still only had 4 Pokemon, so she was still easy. To do the Psychic Gym, you had to do this terrible ESP weird rhythm minigame. I knocked that out, and then I also knocked out all 4 of Tulip's Psychic type Pokemon. They can't really hit Fortress, so they stood no chance. And now comes pain. So, you know that minigame that I had to do for the gym? Well, doing that after the gym is the best way to get Lepa Berries, which I would need for Revival Blessing against any trainer that had 6 Pokemon. I could also get some from raids, but believe it or not, you could not do raids with Explosion only. All I had to do was beat this minigame on moderate difficulty, and I had a 1 in 8 chance to get 3 Lepa Berries. I did this for like 45 minutes, and I only got every other kind of berry. It was like 20 attempts or something with no 1 in 8 chance drop. I decided to take a break and battle Grusha, which, as you may imagine, was not very hard. I beat him easily, and I got my 8th badge. Now, all I had left was the Elite Four and Akita, but because Akita has 6 Pokemon, I would need Lepa Berries. So I went back to Alfrenada and did this mini game for the next 2 hours. I was like 55 attempts deep, no Lepas. The odds of that are astronomically low. I ended stream and decided to grind that minigame off stream, and it still took 23 more attempts to get. It was about 5 hours of grinding this god-awful minigame, and I did not get a Lepa Berry until my 78th attempt. And I also got more on the 79th attempt, but to go 77 attempts for a 1 in 8 chance and not get it? Do you understand how insane that is? It's like a 99.95% chance to have gotten the Lepa before then, and that's not even an exaggeration. Needless to say, I never want to see stupid Dendra's face with that stupid minigame ever again. Okay, Lepa Berries obtained. I readied my team of Garganacl and headed for the Elite Four, where I quickly learned that I did not do nearly enough damage to beat Rika. At least not with Silk Scarves, I don't. I swapped those out for normal gems, which give a 50% boost instead of a 20%. The only downside is I can only use each normal gem once per battle, so if I use Revival Blessing to bring a Garganacl back, it would have 0 boosts. With these much stronger explosions at the ready, I challenged Rika again. Her first Pokemon was Whiscash, which got a 1-shot. Next up was Camerupt, which, believe it or not, also got 1-shot. Her third Pokemon was Donphan. This is where things get a little problematic because Donphan, first of all, has a lot of defense, but also has Sturdy. Sturdy prevents me from one-shotting with Explosion, but that's fine because I can skill swap it with Rabska. Except Rabska was still level 44 and got outsped and one-shot by a Stone Edge. 30 minutes of grinding later, Rabska can now live the Stone Edge and skill swap Donphan to take Sturdy away. The Donphan is also the bulkiest Pokemon on Rika's team, and because I had to hard swap into it with no chance to use Curse, this is where we finally make offensive use of Terra. I went into Nuke, my strongest Garganacl, and because I gave this specific one Terra Normal, I terastallized and blew that Donphan away. From there, her Dugtrio and Clodsire went down to explosions, and Rabska being left alive meant Rika was beaten. The first Elite Four member was down, and now enters the Demon. Poppy was up next. She's a Steel type trainer, so all of her Pokemon resist explosion. I used Soak Floatzel for a while, but using an entire team slot for that was just not gonna work. I threw myself at this brick wall of a battle for ages, but her team was just insane. Her Copperajah sets up Stealth Rocks, which does 25% to Rabska on switch in. Rabska is also needed because her Magnezone has Sturdy, so it needed to be skill swapped. And even when I managed to beat the Magnezone and the Bronzong that came after, she had this Corviknight. It was without a doubt the most difficult Pokemon on her team. It had Brave Bird to one-shot Rabska, and more importantly, it had Iron Defense. That boosts its defense by 2 stages, and if it uses that at all, I lose immediately. After losing many times over, I went and got a Pawmot named Great Value. Pawmot is the only other Pokemon that was Revival Blessing and has other insane support moves like Encore, Substitute, Baton Pass, Entrainment. The list goes on and on. But even with this new Pawmot tech, I just could not not get past this child. At least not at the level I currently was. I went back with my team in the mid 70s, and this time I was going to use great value in 5 Garganacles. Palma was actually amazing for this battle because entrainment can remove sturdy and Encore can lock her Pokemon into moves that let my Garganacle set up for free. It took quite a few tries, but then I got the perfect run. I use a few curses and blow up her Copperaja. I use Palma's entrainment to remove Magnezone sturdy, and then the next turn I Encore it into Light Screen. I swapped into Pipe Bomb, cursed up once, and one-shot the Magnezone. I cursed twice with TNT, explode, and the Bronzong goes down. Now the biggest threat, Corviknight. I go great value, revive a Garganacle, and get blessed by Corviknight clicking a Brave Bird instead of Iron Defense. I Encore it, let great value go down, and at that point Corviknight took most of its health from recoil. This lets Torpedo curse up once, explode, and take it out. Poppy's final Pokemon was Tinkaton, and I kind of played it like I was fighting a Slacking or something. Gigaton Hammer can only be used once every other turn, so I just protected every other turn, cursed up, and Terra Normal Explosion took out Tinkaton, and this monster of a child was defeated. As much as I love Larry, he and Hassel were very easy. I just brought 6 Garganacles and one-shot all of their Pokemon, no weird strats or anything necessary. And now was time for the final boss, Akita. Her team is famously pretty bad, but it's actually really good at countering my strats. All 6 of her Pokemon had a move that could one-shot Palmot, so I decided to use Rabsca as my reviver. I go in optimistic that this will be an easy win. Oh, how wrong I was. Her first 3 Pokemon go down pretty easy. Espathra, one-shot. Go-Go has Bulk Up, which was sometimes annoying, but still pretty easy to one-shot. And Veluza is just a bad Pokemon, so one-shot. Then came her big 3. Avalugg, King Gambit, and Glamora. Avalugg wasn't anything crazy, it just has a ridiculous defense stat. King Gambit though, Gita normally tends to send out King Gambit second or third, so it does not get many boosts from its ability Supreme Overlord. But when you die every time one of her Pokemon does, she sends them out in the intended order, no AI involved. This means King Gambit is always her 5th Pokemon and gets 4 boosts from Supreme Overlord, and that is not very poggers. I was usually able to beat King Gambit with Nuke because it becomes a normal type and isn't weak to Iron Head. The damage boost from Terra was also just insane, so one-shotting King Gambit was easy at the cost of my 1 Terra for the battle. And then comes Glamora, a Terra Rock type that has a super effective Earth Power. I could live Earth Power from half health, but then I only deal like 40% to Glamora with no boosts. I attempted Gita for hours with all kinds of strats that just didn't really work. The best development was using both Rabsca and Palmot so I can get 4 revives in a battle, but even that didn't get me very far. There was one ray of hope, however. The affection system. In these games, whenever you eat a sandwich with your Pokemon, they gain affection. This means that during battle, they'll do things like get more crits, dodge attacks, or live on 1 HP. I didn't grind it out or anything, but just from the sandwiches that I used during Chansey farming, I had enough for my Garganacles to very rarely live on 1 health. It was super rare. It only happened like once or twice, but after that Lepaberry fiasco, I had saved up quite a bit of good luck. I take out Espathra with Torpedo. I take out Go-Go with Pipe Bomb. When she goes Veluza, I use Rabsca to revive both of the fallen Garganacle and then let Rabsca go down. Torpedo booms the Veluza and Pipe Bomb sets up a curse and blows the Avalugg away. Nope, it lived in like 5%. But that's fine, we adapt. I go great value, revive Pipe Bomb, revive Torpedo, and then after great value goes down, Torpedo takes out Avalugg. At that point, Gita had King Gambit and Glamora left, and I only had a Nuke, Rocket, and a half HP Pipe Bomb. Things were not looking good, but when you're the best like me, you can win in any scenario. I used Nuke to Rastalize and take out King Gambit. It was now Rocket versus Glamora, and I had to one-shot or I lose. To one-shot, I had to get 2 curses off, as I learned through my many attempts. I curse once, Glamora does like 40% to Rocket with Earth Power. Then came the most insane, risky decision of all time. Rocket would have to tough it. Okay, the only way to win this battle right now, either I explode now and get a high roll crit, or I curse again, and then next turn, Rocket toughs it out so I don't feel sad. Those are the only ways to win. I'm gonna curse. Rocket. That did 90 damage. Wait. That did 90 damage. Come on, Rocket. Come on, Rocket. Come on, Rocket. Come on. Come on, Rocket. Come on. Rocket. Wait. A crit? No way. Come on, please kill. Toughed it out so you wouldn't feel sad. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, Rocket, come on. Let's go! 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 Let's go, dude. Akita defeated. I had become a champion in Pokemon Scarlet using only explosions. This challenge took way too long to complete. It was way too mind-numbing, and would I ever do it again? No.